twĩhandĩte wega thaa mũgwanja na ndagĩka igĩrĩ harĩ ithaa rĩa gũkũrehera mohoro ta ũrĩa matũkinyĩire na ta ũrĩa andĩki aitũ makoretwo magĩtũharĩrĩria ũmũthĩ harĩ kerĩ ga tarĩki 25 mweri wa gatatũ mwaka wa 2025 gakũnyita ũgeni mwĩrori wa Kameme TV thĩinĩ wa ũmemerekia wa mohoro gĩtaũ ririkana ũmũthĩ nĩ thikũ ya kerĩ ya gwetha kana mũikarĩri gĩtĩ wa kamĩtĩ ya ithurano na mĩhaka IEBC. Icio nĩ imwe cia riboti iria ngũharĩirie niĩ njĩtagwo Mũra wa Ndung'u na metha-inĩ ya ũtaũri twĩna Wagaki wa Muthoni na rĩu njĩtĩkĩria tũrĩke ĩmwe kwa ĩmwe nginyagia mohoro-inĩ maitũ kũrĩa mũnyoteri wa gĩturwa kĩa mũikarĩri gĩtĩ wa IEBC Erastus Ethekon augĩte atĩ nĩ ekwarĩra mĩtaratara ya gũtigĩrĩra atĩ IEBC nĩ yarutithania wĩra na ciama ciothe cia kĩũteti gũtigĩrĩra gũtirĩ na ithagathago iria ciumagĩria na ahũranĩri makaga kũiganĩra na moimĩrĩra. Akĩaria hĩndĩ ya gũthũrimwo wagĩrĩru wa kana nĩ ekũheo wĩra ũcio, Ethekon ningĩ nĩaugĩte atĩ angĩkorwo nĩ ekũheo ũigĩrĩrĩki ũcio nĩ agatigĩrĩra atĩ mĩtaratara ya gĩthurano nĩ ĩgathingata atumia na njĩra ya mwanya. Reke rĩu tũthiĩ mwena ũcio twambe tũthikĩrĩrie marĩa mahanĩkire kĩambĩrĩria-inĩ kĩa ũthũrimi ũyũ.
We will put measures in place, working again with actors, political parties, candidates, to ensure that we manage these incidences that will put undue pressure to the voters, so that they're able to express their free will, exercise their universal suffrage rights, based on the quality of their vote and the quality of their vote. Because a vote that you cast in your free will is a quality vote. Then there are issues of access during the polling. As an ex-presiding officer, there are certain barriers that can affect citizens' access, and especially those with special needs, to the polling station and to the polling booth and to be able to cast their vote as of the free. That's why, for example, we have measures such as mechanisms to assist some of the voters who cannot be able to write, to read and write. Those measures are there just to ensure that they are assisted to exercise their constitutional right. So that in that way we ensure that fairness and equity. Then, of course, during the voting, the security around the polling station should be such that it gives people the confidence to come and cast their vote. That's where now we look at, of course, issues. For example, we have some special categories. We've not even spoken about them. For example, women. In elections, you find that this group can be intimidated, and because it's a rough game, we've made it rough, which it shouldn't. It should be peaceful and smooth. So you find that sometimes we scare some of these constituencies because then, coming there to haggle, to fight, to kill and all that. So I know, of course, currently the commissioners, the number of voters accessing the particular polling station has been capped at 700, I think, to facilitate that that opportunity to cast their vote quickly. But we will look at those special issues around the security of, for example, women, mothers with their children, pregnant women.
Ũcio nĩ mũhũranĩri wa mbere wa gwetha mĩto ya gũtuĩka mũikarĩri gĩtĩ wa kamĩtĩ ya IEBC etagwo Erastus Ethekon. Na ndagĩka-inĩ ĩno Francis Kakai Kissinger nĩ ũrĩ gĩturu-inĩ kana nĩ ũrĩ gĩtĩ-inĩ agĩthũrimwo wagĩrĩru wake ona gũgĩtambũrũkia na rĩu tũthiĩ mwena ũcio ĩmwe kwa ĩmwe twamũkĩre marĩa marathiĩ na mbere.
Sometimes back when we were disbanding ECK. And the reason why we disbanded ECK is practically what you are saying. And we said that even the name must change from Electoral Commission of Kenya to independent. And we came to double IEBC, and we were fighting with that issue of independent. Now we have IEBC, we're still fighting with the aspect of the the independence. So for me, from the old school thinking, as long as you have the law, and the law prescribes you to be independent, then you are independent. It's the responsibility, therefore, of the chairman.
Sorry, you didn't get my question. I'm saying the critical report recommended to the secretariat of YPC to be independent on its own? Is it practically possible from where you sit?
I was actually coming there, but I was taking a longer route. So you can't, I think it's very difficult. In my view, it's very, very difficult to have the Secretariat independent from who? Are we saying there are some recommendations are normally given in reports, but these recommendations sometimes are superfluous. You can't say that a secretariat to be independent from who? Why do you want to be independent in the first place as a secretariat? I think it's the organization, the whole organization, the secretariat and the commission that should be independent.
Thanks so much. I agree with you because it's actually the commissioners who are responsible, who take charge, and who are answerable to the Kenyans. Thanks so much, and I wish you well.
Thank you, Evans. We now move to Fatuma Saman to ask questions, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Kissinger. Is it okay to call you that?
I was named after Henry Kissinger, the former U.S. Secretary of State.
Okay.
So I pride myself to be called Kissinger.
Okay, good to know. If you look at the recent years, public trust in IEBC has been dwindling. And so if you get an opportunity to become the chair, what are these things you'll do, or rather initiatives that you'll put in place to ensure that the institution wins back public confidence?
Thank you. Trust will always be a challenge to any EMB. We have a trust deficit, a trust issue with the IEBC. Some of the practical things we can do is increased stakeholder engagement. You need to bring together all the stakeholders in the electoral processes and discuss and come up with practical solutions on how do we deal with this issue of trust. Because once you don't have trust, then it will challenge you with the issue of credibility of the election. Number two, you need to have a very strong communication team or communication strategy. What is it that you are doing? You need to be as transparent as possible. You need to open your doors and your windows to everybody, every voter, every Kenyan to understand what you are doing. You need to communicate. You need to be felt. You need to be everywhere. That's the only way you increase the issue of trust. The electoral processes, again, from beginning of voter registration, you need to be very transparent. If members of the public are saying the voter register is not proper, is not updated, explain to them. Increase their trust. Explain to them why the voter register is not updated. Tell them and give them very practical solutions what you are going to do as an IEBC to have a proper voter register, because a critical document when you are going to the election. Voter education, you need to explain to them. So that trust issue entirely means you need to enhance it through those mechanisms that I've talked about. But more important is communication. You need to be trusted before that voter goes to an electoral process.
Just as a follow-up, how do you balance between independence and stakeholder engagement? Because there are, of course, stakeholders that if you do not engage wisely, the institution may lose its independence. So how do you balance between that?
Unfortunately, when you are working in the realm of elections, you must have a stakeholder engagement, because it's the stakeholder engagement that gives you the trust issue that we are talking about previously. So you must have stakeholder engagement. And luckily for us, we have even legislated the stakeholder engagement. That's why PPLC exists, to bring these parties together. And also, situations arise when all voters want to engage with you. But when you are engaging with the stakeholders, you are limiting yourself only to the process of election. You are limiting yourself only to the transparency of the election. You are limiting to yourself of only the gaps that exist in the process that you want to fix with the help of those stakeholders. For example, if you are going into an election and you don't involve critical stakeholders like women organizations or PWDs or minorities, you will have a problem. But now, how you limit that engagement to independence is that you allow the engagement to take place, but you go back and say, I am independent and I'll only stick to what the law says that I must do, and therefore you will give me, as a stakeholder, you will give me input, but that input, if it will compromise the independence, then I will not do it.
Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Nicodemus Bore, do you want to engage the candidate?
Thank you, Chair. Kissinger, when you are describing your CV and yourself, you said you are a reformer, and would wish to tell this honorable panelists an area in which you have really taken up on reforms, and in case you get the opportunity to serve as a chair of IEBC, what kind of reforms will you bring forth to the Commission?
Thank you very much.
Na kiu ni giikaro gia gwetha muikari giti mweru wa kamiti ya ithurano na mihaka IBC kwa ndagika ino Francis Kakai Kissinger niwe uri kigeri-ini gia gukorwo gigitamburukio na gukihungwo mahuriri kana maundu maria mekirirwo muno thiini wa cikaro ici ni wiyathi wa kamiti ya ithurano na mihaka na ukiririkane bururi utigitio miaka iri urike thiini wa githurano na kamiti ino ni gukorwo na gigibarwa kinene muno ari hamwe na guthurima mihaka gwata gukihaririria ithurano na nitukwamukira gikaro kiu tukirikiria mohoro maitu no ndagika-ini no reke twambe tugukire riboti ingi na mutongoria wa bururi William Ruto na murunae wa Zimbabwe Emmerson Mnangagwa ni matongoririe mucemanio wa gwetha thayu bururi-ini wa DR Congo uria uratwarithio na mbere ni gitaru kia Afrika ya irathiro EAC na gitaru kia Afrika ya muhuro SADC. Mucemanio uyu ni wiguithanirie kwa dandura namba ya andu a gwetha kihonia haria ni mapresident ana hau kabere matongoretio ni president wa kana Uhuru Kenyatta na president wa tene wa Nigeria Olusegun Obasanjo gatagati ka age.
It is getting worse, and therefore it is a source of concern, not just for DRC as a country, but all of us in the East African community and SADC, because it has the potential to spill over into our countries with the attendant serious consequences of displacement of people, loss of life, and the challenges of instability that it will come with it. Therefore, I want to thank all the heads of state who have demonstrated their commitment by attending this virtual meeting. It is a confirmation that we are all concerned, rightfully, about the situation in our neighborhood, and all of us are taking steps to see to it that we do everything that we can to resolve the issue in Eastern DRC to the best of our ability. Let me commend our defense chiefs who have had several meetings in preparation for the summit, and also our ministers of defense and ministers of foreign affairs for the preparations they have undertaken to facilitate us having this meeting. The primary objective of which will be to discuss the report of our ministers of foreign affairs and defense that was informed to a great extent by the meetings of the defense chiefs.
Ekwirwo heri hau icio akunyita migwate matereba ha ngari cia Uber na gucoka kubora spare cia ngari icio ni maikitio ngono Githunguri county-ini ya Kiambu na gukinywo igoti-ini ria Githunguri eri acio makoretwo magitabania wikinayo uyu magitabania cieko ici icigo itiganite nginya riria maraikirio ngono ni maabitha a borithi.
Nyetio mbere ya mucirithania Moses Wanjara uria ugite mathie na mbere na kuhingirwo ceceni-ini ya borithi ya Ikinu kwa ihinda ria thikũ 5 niguo kuhe mweke maabitha a borithi aria maratwarithia ndeto ino ihinda ria kurikiriria uthuthuria uyu na oho kuhe mweke matereba aria othe merigite gutharikirwo na ngari ciao kuborwo gwikinyia ceceni-ini iyo ya borithi niguo kugeria gukurana ekwirwo acio. Mutongoria wa thitango cia muingi igoti-ini riri erite igoti eri aya manyitirwo manyitite ngari imwe migwate itura-ini ria Gathanji barabara-ini ya Githunguri guthie Kiambu.
The OCS Githunguri police station to file a report or attend court and render an explanation on the concerns raised by the accused person. The first is the allegation that they have been abused, that they have been molested or tortured. So the court needs a report from the OCS Githunguri police station as to the veracity of those allegations.
Ekwirwo aya aria ni Peter Njuguna wa miaka 42 na John Kimani Ng'ang'a wa ukuru wa miaka 50 maikirio ngono manyitete migwate ndereba wa Uber Anthony Kimemia Wanyeki uria ni wa ukuru wa miaka 34.
Uchunguzi itaendelea kwa hiyo muda wa siku 5 kisha tutataja kesi tarehe 28 on Friday. 28 mwezi wa 3 itasikizwa tarehe 28 mwezi wa 5. Hamtapewa bond kwa sasa, but afisa wa probation atatuletea ripoti ya prevailed report.
Elia ya kurerikana makoretwo mari amwe a batoni ya ekinaĩ aria makoretwo makinyamaria matereba aingi a taxi matura-ini ma Kiambu kwa ihinda kuria macokaga guteaniria ngari icio thutha wa gucibora cuma imwe ciacio iria mari na bata nacio migunda-ini ya kahua na macani.
Utawekwa kwa muda wa siku 5. Utawekwa Ikinu police station. Utahamishwa kutoka Githunguri hadi Ikinu police station.
Handũ-inĩ ha Kameme TV kuma kaunti-inĩ ya Kiambu, rĩtwa rĩakwa nĩ Njau ya Kĩnuthia.
Nĩ ngatho Njau wa Kĩnuthia. Rĩu tũthiĩ kaunti-inĩ ya Kĩrĩnyaga kũrĩa namba ya arwaru a mũrimũ wa TB kaunti-inĩ ĩno ĩthiĩte na mbere na gũcoka thĩ kumana na makinya marĩa matacũkĩtio nĩ thirikari ya kaunti harĩ ũrigitani na gũtigĩrĩra kũrĩ na ndawa cia kũigana kũrĩ arwaru aya. Akĩaria hĩndĩ ya mũthĩ wa TB kaunti-inĩ ĩno, Minister wa ũgima wa mwĩrĩ Ndagĩtarĩ George Karoki augĩte thirikari ya kaunti rĩu ĩrĩ na macini ya kĩrĩu ya kũhũra mbica na gũthima mũrimũ wa TB na ĩrĩa ĩrĩtwaragwo hakuhĩ na mũingĩ.
Mũrimũ wa TB nĩ ũmwe wa mĩrimũ ĩrĩa ũgwati na ĩgwatanagio na ihenya na ũngĩaga kũmenyekana tene na ũrigitwo no ũcũngĩrĩrie gĩkuũ. Agĩtongoria igongona rĩa gũkũngũĩra mũthĩ wa kũhũrana na mũrimũ ũyũ mwena wa Kutus kaunti-inĩ ya Kĩrĩnyaga, Minister wa ũgima wa mwĩrĩ Ndagĩtarĩ George Karoki augĩte namba ya arwaru a mũrimũ ũyũ ĩthiĩte ĩcokete thĩ kumana na makinya marĩa makoretwo magĩtacũkia harĩ ũrigitani na ndawa.
We have come today to commemorate at Kutus, even as we make the public aware of this particular issue that is a real plague in our country in terms of infections, and therefore we really need to advocate and also do what we call public awareness so that people can bring themselves or they can come to the health facilities for the purposes of test.
Karoki augĩte rĩu kaunti ya Kĩrĩnyaga kũrĩ na macini ya kĩrĩu ya artificial intelligence ĩrĩa ĩrahũra mbica na gũthima mũrimũ wa TB na ĩgũkorwo ĩgĩtwarwo kũrĩ mũingĩ mathibitarĩ-inĩ matiganĩte nĩguo magathimwo.
Currently we have the most recent state-of-the-art technology to identify TB. We have gotten a machine that is having the artificial intelligence bit of it, whereby after taking that particular X-ray, it brings automatically the results and it describes the particular x-ray that has been taken, and therefore it may identify very quickly and very exact that one could be suffering from TB or so.
Charity Wanjiru Gatia ni umwe wa aria manakorwo na murimu uyu agitariria ati mbere ya menyete ari na TB akoretwo akirigitwo mirimu ingi indi athurimo murimu wa TB akiambiria kurigitwo na nginya kuhona.
Ngikiro gene expert na ngioneka ndina TB yari very high na nindambiririe treatment on the spot. Ndambiririe tariki 20th April 2020 ngicoka nginywa ndawa icio mieri 6. Ndawa icio ni cia twikire cia kundeithia no ni ndagire na challenges nginywa ndawa icio tondu ni ndagaga thakame na ndari pregnant. Ndi kindu ndigaritie kindu mweri umwe ndari na thakame ya 6.2 igikinya handu igitwika no nginya ndingiekirirwo 0.4 na ndekirirwo kiruguya. No ni ndengiuga ndawa cia TB ni ihonagia tondu kuma hau ndire ndakorwo na thina wothe na mwiri wakwa ni wacokire wega na ndi sawa.
Rugano no taruru kuri John Kelly Ochieng uria uritie muingi kuyumiria guthurimo murimu uyu na makarumira mawatho ma ndagitari.
So ningeweza kuhimiza watu kwamba TB si ugonjwa, ni airborne disease, na airborne disease ni kitu iko kila mahali, ni inaweza kuwa bacteriologically active anywhere, so unless iweze kukushika ndio utajua kwamba uko nayo, but everywhere. Inashika watoto, inashika wakubwa, wasichana kwa wakubwa, hata madaktari sisi. Ikikushika ni vizuri uende ukatibwe na upimwe, umeze dawa na umalize.
Handu-ini ya Kameme TV kuma Kutus kaunti-ini ya Kirinyaga, jitagwo Wainaina wa Kiarie.
Atiri undu utangaja Facebook ni Kameme TV Kenya, YouTube ni Kameme TV Kenya. Twambe tuikirie na thie na mbere kwaraniria na ithui.
Kameme TV.
Yo, this week on the Gen Z Manifesto mazee tunapiga story ya the youth agenda in the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto mazee.
Wali promise vitu mingi majibu.
Bana, from sports and creative enterprises to story ingine ya 50 billion. Ngoja, 50 billion kila mwaka mazee kwa SMEs, akisema zinawa crucial from Sherlock's in the end zinafaa ku create millions of jobs kama youth man.
So hizi promises zote so far kani iko fulfilled? Hii manifesto so far, is it a hit or a miss? Gava inafanya kakitu ama farm ni kuband?
Hiyo yote ni Tuesday on K24 and Kameme TV from 7:30 to 9 p.m.
Get ready.
I'm ready for Tuesday. Very ready for Tuesday.
Urimi niguo munyiginyigi wa gukura gwa bururi wa Kenya, ukinyita itemi rinene hari utonga waguo. Na korwo urimi wakinyanirio na kio hatari kurora riua, haha niho ciringi ikomete.
Murori wa Kameme TV, ino ni tafarira ya Kayo ka Murimi haria tuguthomithagia maingi megie urimi na uriithi na maundu matiganite. Ti mugunda waku na mahiu maku ni magukuhe gia kuria na gia kunywa na matigie kindu muhuko.
Kayo ka Murimi ni tafarira iri kugunaga we mwiroreri hari gukurehera njira itiganite cia urimi wa kimerera na urimi wa kiriu, hari uria ungithondeka utonga kuma tiri-ini o gicunji giothe kia mugunda kiria ungikorwo nakio.
Na twakinya guku kabutini check, kobakobone check, atiri utangaja kana gitumi kingigiria gutaririe maingi megie urimi wa muthenya wa umuthi. Twarana nani
nyitanagira na bataru wa Mwagiro muthenya wa gatatu thaa 1:30 nginyagia thaa 2 cia hwaini, akirika gugutariria maingi megie urimi na umithio wa ciringi yaguo. Na haha to kurima tu, ni kurima gukumia. Ni guku gwa Kameme TV, muthegi wa rũrĩrĩ.
Wita, okungu kwako.
Tengilunga.
What are we looking at?
Thank you guys for joining us for this unforgettable night.
Your order is ready. Paw Patrol is on a roll.
It's Max Verstappen in the lead. The megastar is here. Absolutely sensational.
Let's go! We should always live like this.
Get unbelievable entertainment that is unbelievably easy to own. Get and stay connected to DSTV.
People Daily, Kenya's trusted newspaper, is making